Randy Duck and welcome back for another video, and today I've got 3 replays to show you in the brand new tier 10 Polish premium heavy tank, the Czołg, and I'm sorry but I probably messed up that name, but if you've been following me for a while then I'm sure you're used to that already. So this is the season pass level 100 reward, and you can pick this tank up for 2,000 gold, and yeah, which is essentially, you know, you get all that gold back. It's basically free if you buy the season pass and complete it. So what is this tank? It's basically got a 750 alpha gun, very similar to the 60TP, except from this gun's a lot more accurate than the 60TP. It's the same gun in terms of penetration. You've got 250 AP pen on your standard rounds with 1050 shell velocity, 317 heat pen with with your 750 alpha, and then your 90 penetration on your HE rounds with 950 alpha. So it's very similar to the 60TP in the terms of its gun, except for this is a lot more accurate gun than the for this type of caliber gun, 750. It's actually one of the more accurate ones. You only have 6 degrees of gun depression rather than the 10 which the 60TP has, but you do have somewhat okay armor, and I say okay because it can be good when you're fighting stuff with the sort of standard rounds and you're hold down, importantly trying to use your turret armor. But the turret armor does have multiple weak points on it, which means if someone knows what they're doing, they can pen you. And there will be some games you feel like, oh, this armor's not working at all. And that's because if someone knows what they're doing and they've got like the premium rounds loaded, you can go through the gun mantlet quite happily. And you can also pen the sort of, there's a machine gun port at the top of your sort of commander's hatch, which you can go through as well. So it is pretty mobile though for a heavy tank of this caliber. You've got a 40 kilometers an hour top speed, but it's got, it gets that top speed fairly quickly, I always find. And for this type of tank, it can be quite mobile. So that's pretty much enough of the basics. I think what I'm going to do is just get into the replay, and I'll explain more as the video actually progresses. Okay, so on to the first replay then on Airfield. And if you want to see the equipment and the crew setup I'm using this tank, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. I do actually run advanced reloader so I can swap the ammo types, because I find with having, it's kind of limited. You've got quite low penetration on your AP rounds, and it's quite nice to be able to swap between rounds quickly, as well as the fact that when you've got that 90 pen on your HE rounds and you come across like a Turan or Waffle, an Iron Rain, an artillery, stuff with like low armor, you can just swap to that round quickly and boost your damage output. So that's why I use it, but you don't necessarily have to. You could use stuff like optics as well, because this does have not a great view range, to be fair, so it would help it out. And start away at the game, I've killed the toxic tank, so this game couldn't have got off to better of a start than that, really, killing that vigilante there. I'm sure we've all seen or experienced the wrath of the vigilante, so nice to get that shot in. I think if this video ended there, it would be a good one. But yeah, let's move on. We've got our first kill, and we're just going to see what we can do around this area. I don't want to poke out too far here, just in case tank destroyers are covering these tanks in front of me. I'm considering moving up, but I don't want to do it just in case there's stuff down the back like the tank destroyers which could catch us out. So I'm going to stay patient for now. We've got a heavy tank here we can run support of, and I'm just going to see if I can try and get into the action somehow. So I basically got 3 replays for you today, 2 sort of averagey games or semi-decent, and then a nicer one to end up on. I'll swap to the small mini-map here, just so I can see the exact sort of locations of the tanks around me, make sure they're not flanking behind, and we get a lovely shot there into the chieftain. So a decent start to the game, picking up a kill already, getting another penetration in there. And you know what I think this tank is, from my opinion, I would say it's fairly average basically. It's not bad. I think it could do with a slight buff to the armor, I think, really, but it's not terrible. It's just it's pretty average. That's the best way I can describe it, I think. I don't find it a pain to play, but I do find sometimes like the armor's just not working, and you feel like it could do with a little bit of a buff in that region. But I prefer them to bring these tanks out that way, in my opinion, when they're a little bit weaker at the start, and then buff it later, then bringing out a tank which is incredibly overpowered and then releasing it to everyone, but essentially in the season pass, because it just ruins the matchmaking, you know, a little bit when they do things like that. But yeah, so that's enough of that. But yeah, so on this game here, we just sort of got waiting. I want to try and kill this Emil, but he's hold down. We're not really going to be able to pen him when he's like this. This is Emil too. And I'm more concerned about the tank destroyers, which could potentially be covering the Emil. But I am going to poke and just put a shot into this chieftain there. I use the AP rounds. You see, that's another reason I like having to be able to swap between the rounds, because if I had heat, I might get absorbed in the track potentially. So the AP rounds I knew I was going to pen. We do get slapped by the enemy fun police though, which is not ideal, and he does have shots when we poke around this corner. So I need to either fall back or just go in and try and take care of this tank. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to see if we can kill this Emil here. I'm going to stop to shoot the baby Emil, and unfortunately the gun does derp. Although you know, it can do that, it is one of those types of guns. It just doesn't happen as much as it would in something like the 60TP. I just find this going to be a lot more reliable usually for a gun which has 750 alpha. The Emil 2 is on reload. We know that, so we're going to go around and put a shot into him there, and we actually set him on fire and pick up a kill, and that's, you know, a lovely result. We have lost quite a lot of our hit points. It probably didn't mention at the start, as 2,600 hit points, so there's a decent chunk for, you know, of hit points which you can use. And we've got a J Panther 2 in front of us. We know we're going to be able to make sort of light work of this tier 8 tank. Get a nice shot in. The side armour on this tank is pretty good. It can side scrape pretty well. You just have to be careful, you know, with your turret in it when you're poking out, but they don't go through that. But overall, you can side scrape in this tank fairly effectively. So we're going to chase down this J Panther, but then we spot the waffle. Now here, I make a, you know, I get a nice shot in and I get a bounce, which is fortunate. I think I made a slight mistake there in the fact that I didn't swap to the HE rounds and pen the waffle, you know, because that's what I've got the advanced loader for. I didn't do it because I thought he was going to fire and then move, and I didn't want to miss the shot, but I think I had time to actually do that, and I would have picked up a bit more damage, and, you know, also increased my chance of setting them on fire as well by penning with the HE. So we're on 4 kills, 4,600 damage. There is only 4 tanks remaining. We shut down this J Panther 2 here, picking up the 5th kill, and now we're just trying to hunt down and see if we can pick up that 6th kill of the game. Enemy artillery's there. I would love to get a shot in. Unfortunately, he tracks me in place, which slows me down, and I suspect he's just going to get taken out by our friendly vigilante there, because he's not going to take long. It's only going to take about 2 seconds to kill that tank. So at this point I'm thinking my chances of getting damage is limited now. I think the best chance is to try and get a shot on this artillery, but I'm just hoping I get there. I bet he does get shut down before I'm able to get the shot in, and that pretty much brings us an end to this game, because we're not going to be able to get over there to get the damage. And that is it for the first replay, but we still have 2 more to come, so let's see how we got on, then we'll move on to the final replay. We do get 5 kills, we do get 5,000 damage, 2,100 block damage, and the high caliber. So let's move on to replay number 2. Okay, so replay number 2, we are on Raseiniai. There is 1 enemy fun police, 3 enemy light tanks, and initially we are going to push into the castle area and hope that we get in a brawl with lots of heavy tanks, because that's what we want. Yeah, we're in a heavy tank, we're going to get into that brawl as quickly as we can. One thing you could run on this tank is the off-road driving perk on the crew setup. I run clutch braking because I want to be able to sort of rotate my tank a little bit quicker, helps with side scraping. But the train resistance on this tank is not fantastic, so it's actually pretty low. So if you ran that, that would help out a little bit. But for me, I personally opted to clutch braking. I mean, you could also run armour angling just to reduce your incoming damage somewhat. But yeah, for me, that's what I prefer to go for. And as I say, you may want to run optics on the equipment rather than the advanced reloader if you wanted to as well. You know, they're all good options. I just chose the advanced reloader because it worked for me. And yeah, so we're pushing up into the town. We're sort of, you know, we've got quite a good presence on the right hand side of the map. We have a few tanks coming with us as well, so we've got a pretty good spread out, I'd say, with our teams. And we're just going to move in and see what we can do. An enemy tank has been spotted quite aggressively here on the right hand side. We're going to see if we can try and deal with this enemy medium tank if we can. but we've got to be careful because there's another, I think, Bergetto on our left hand side, which we have to be wary of. With the 6 degrees of gun depression, it's a little bit awkward to play these positions with these ridges. That's where the 60 TP comes in a little bit better than this tank. Unfortunately, we kind of fluffed that shot completely. But yeah, the 6 degrees, it means it's not completely painful because, you know, there's a lot more positions you can use. But with it being quite a high profile tank, it's a little bit awkward, but it's not the end of the world. So we're ricocheting some shots, looking to get one in through the lower plate there, but the Leopard turns, and I decided that Leopard's going to be a guaranteed pen, and it's also a dangerous tank. So let's put one into Leopard. Leopard is kind of just full sended in here. I don't think he's really going to escape this, to be honest, although he does. But we're going to see if we can try and finish him off if possible. But we're just just going to put one into the enemy heavy tank in front of us. We won for it, but we damage his ammo rack. And yeah, we come out with that okay. I'm being a little bit careful because there's tanks on our left, and the enemy artillery is starting to shoot us. And this is a bit of a problem for us because if we stay there, the enemy artillery is going to continue to shoot us. So I decided to try and back up, but I back up into a rock into the wall, and that doesn't help us out a bit. And then we get hit by the artillery again, which again is far from ideal. And I'm in a situation where I'm trying to avoid getting shot by the enemy artillery, but also I probably just need to get into the damage as well because I don't want to leave my tanks fighting without us. So I'm just going to wait for this reload to come off. It does have quite, you know, a long reload. You've only got a DPM of like 2,940, which is not great, but it's kind of on par with a lot of the tanks which have the 750 Alpha. So we're going to try and shoot this Type 5 here. We go nice straight through his cupola, pick up a lovely penetration. You see the artillery is not leaving us alone on this one. He is continually firing at us over and over and over. So I'm really hoping I'm going to get the opportunity to get my revenge on the enemy fun police, you know, if we can, but we've got to survive this engagement first. You see, he's making it a little bit awkward for us. We do get a shot in the Type. I've decided just to let the artillery shoot us and just try and kill these tanks quicker, because I just need to get rid of them. I'm trying to keep moving to make it a little bit harder for the artillery to shoot us. He does miss that shot, and we're going to try and get up to these buildings here to try and protect us from the artillery while trying to just work our way in and kill this Type 5. But once that Type 5 is destroyed, that's going to allow us to move in closer and work our way towards getting more damage. So we come round and he gets shut down by our friendly double tap, which is with us, and now we can progress on and see if we can deal with this enemy mouse here. With 12 versus 8, this game's looking promising for the win. It's not definitely one, but you know, the artillery hits me again right on cue there. He has constantly fired at us this game. Should be able to put one in through the lower plate of the mouse here, which we do. Trying to pull back safe from the enemy fun police piggy. He's still shooting at us here. And the mouse is almost taken out. I think he is on a one shot to us now. 300, yeah, definite one shot. We'll see if we can finish him off, but he gets shut down, and now we're going to progress forward again. And at this point I'm thinking, right, I am coming for you, Mr. Piggy. You have been shooting at me all game. You've probably taken away a lot of my hit points. It's my time to try and see if we can put a HE round straight through your little artillery. So 7 tanks remaining. Enemy team have pulled it back to a 7 versus 9. So I say it's definitely not 1, but I'm still feeling fairly confident. We get a nice shot into the T30 there, which is crosses, puts us on to 4,000 damage with picking up some track assistance there, getting sort of 700 track assistance, and we're just making our way and try and get into this riverbed so we can deal with the artilleries whilst still having opportunities to shoot these TDs on the right. So moving through the low ground now, like I say, we know where the artillery is, we can see him shooting there. We're just going for this, you know, but it looks like a lot of our team have got the same idea. So hopefully we can come around and get a nice shot in him. I probably should already be swapping to the HE round, to be honest, because I should be able to pen him with the HE round, so I'm not sure why, again, I haven't done that. But I am progressing round. Only 4 tanks remaining. This is looking like a definite win here. Here we go. We get a shot into the artillery, and it was low enough hit points for us to not need the HE rounds anyway. And that puts us on to 5,000 damage with 1 kill and only 3 enemy tanks remaining. 2 of which we all know are directly in front of us. The enemy heavy tank, I'm not entirely sure where he is, although he's just got spotted in our cap, so we do know where he is now. And I'm just going to go around and try and kill these TDs. I'm not worried about being capped out. I think we've got plenty of time to get the reset if need be. And our friendly team, our friendly tank destroyer is already moving that way. I'm just going to see where's the most damage, and I think the most damage is in this enemy Foch here, who is fairly healthy. In fact, he is full health, so we should be able to try and get a shot into this tank. This game, to be fair now, is won. The enemy heavy tank, one of the enemy TDs got taken out, and it's just this enemy heavy tank and this enemy Foch left to deal with. So I'm pretty confident we are going to get the win. We can't get capped out because our friendly team's already in the cap, so we'd have to come back for the reset if we want to get the win. And it's just whether we can get over there and get a shot into this Foch before he gets taken out. Our friendly object 430, there is a one shot to the Foch. I can eat at least one shot, and I've decided I'm just going to go in. He might clip me out for this, but as long as I get one shot in, that's pretty much all I care about at this stage. So we do manage to squeeze the shot in. He looks like he's actually on reload, and yeah, this game is done now. Can we get that last shot into the Foch? I don't think so. He's probably going to get taken out by the enemy, our friendly IS-4, and he does. And that pretty much brings an end to the game, and we finished that one off with, what, just shy, well, 5,700 damage, 800 assistance with 800 block there. The heavy tank, spoiler, doesn't pull off the 1 versus 8. He does get taken out pretty shortly. And that's going to bring us into this replay, but we still have one more replay to come. So I'm just going to move ahead and just go on to that final replay. Okay, so we made it to the final replay on Himmelsdorf, which is traditionally a good map for a heavy tank. We are platooned up with Swindle 321, who is in his light tank here, and there's no enemy artillery to concern ourselves with. And we've decided that we're going to push down the banana road, the 8 line at the start of the game. It is team destruction, so again we don't have to worry about the cap circle either. And we're just hoping that we can get into a brawl down this 8 line here. Try and use the rubble to stay as hold down as possible. There is enemy grill. We do slap a shot in. He misses his shot to us, and a good start to the game. Unfortunately, Swindle is getting full pushed by a light tank, and a lot of tanks have just been spotted now. So we're going to start moving forward. I'm hoping this IS-4 doesn't push us out here, because I'm trying to just not get shot by these TDs, which is why I haven't crossed yet. And just going to try and just see if we can squeeze in a shot. IS-4 is leaving. Can we squeeze one in? We do. We get one in through the back of the turret there, picking up our second penetration in the game, putting us on to 1,400 damage. And this is going to be a very peculiar Himmelsdorf game. We've taken hill control uncontested, and most of their tanks are all actually down the sort of 1, 2, 3 line there. So I've decided to take the courtyard, knowing that I have cover from the hill. So it feels like you can't always do this. This is just how the game's turned out for me in this one. And it felt like it was the right thing to do. I want to try and get close and try and get in to get that damage here. So we're moving forward here. Anything I do spot, could get shot by the hill. Unfortunately, we shoot that shot in the rubble. I thought I had AP rounds loaded, and I didn't. So the heat shell got absorbed in the rubble. If I'd have fired AP, probably would have picked up a shot of damage there. So this enemy heavy tank gets taken out in front of us, and we do pick up some assistance damage here because we're spotting the targets for the our people on the hill, and we're picking up the assistance for it. So we're on 1,000 assistance, which to be fair is a good amount of assistance to get on Himmelsdorf, and it's not a traditional one where you get a lot of assistance. And we're in a good position for a brawl here, so we squeeze a shot into that leopard and set him on fire, which is lovely, putting us on to 3,700 damage. So it's a great shot there into that enemy leopard. And yeah, this is such a weird game on Himmelsdorf, the way this has turned out. Looks like this heavy tank is going to push out, and he gets set on fire as well. That is 2 fires in a row, putting us on about 5,000 damage. I mean, that tank there, it is a walking firebox, to be honest. But yeah, that is a bit of good fortune going on our side. Enemy light tank crosses, and I really don't know what I did. That was just an absolute horrendous shot. I should have picked up a picked up a shot into that tank there, putting us on to close to the 6,000 mark. But I very much sense that this game is going to come to a close very quickly. It's got a feeling of one of those games, and I feel like I just need to get in there right now, even if it means I have to use some of my hit points to do so. Put a shot into that chieftain. We do repair that fire damaged engine quickly because we don't want to get set on this fire. It does have a fairly high fire chance in this tank, and it also does get ammo racked, which I haven't mentioned. The ammo rack is pretty soft. It's a big target in the back of the turret on this tank. Enemy light tank here crust and pokes out, and we get a shot into that manticore, putting us on the 6,500 damage with 4 tanks remaining. Like I say, this is a very peculiar game of Himmelsdorf, and it's over pretty quickly. We're hoping to get a nice shot into this light tank. If he pokes again, he's going to get slapped, and we do pick up a kill, putting us into 7,000 damage, and it's only the waffle left. And I'm just hoping, can we get there and slap that HE rounding, because then we could pick up 8,000 damage by penning him, because we can pen that waffle. But he dies in 2 seconds because there is a vigilante on our team. So yeah, there's that. And that brings us then to the replay, and we finished that one off with 1 kill, 7,000 damage, pick up 1,000 assistance, and yeah, a very quick, peculiar game on Himmelsdorf, picking up the first class. And yeah, I just wanted to get this replay out to you as quickly as I could get it, just to show you the new tank and what you could potentially be earning. So I think this tank's fairly average, but it's definitely worth getting, on the season task, and it might get a buff as well. So it's not a bad tank. I've certainly enjoyed playing it. But yeah, thanks for watching. As always, happy tanking.